Hey everybody, Chris here from Reilly Auto Parts to show you how to bleed your brakes. It's possible for air to get into your brake lines and the result is spongy brakes. This can happen anytime you work on a brake booster or master cylinder, wheel cylinders or calipers, or anytime the brake lines of your vehicle have been open. Brake bleeding is necessary to remove the air from your brake lines. Today I'll be bleeding the brakes on this 2008 Dodge Nitro. The process will be similar for your vehicle, but be sure to know the specifics before getting started. This includes knowing whether or not your vehicle requires a scan tool in order for the brakes to be bled. Some do. If you're not completely comfortable doing this yourself, we'd be happy to recommend a professional technician in your area. Before getting started, understand that brake fluid is highly corrosive and should be handled carefully at all times and cleaned up promptly when spilled. Make sure you read the first aid procedure on the bottle before starting the procedure. First, you'll need to determine in what order the lines will be bled. In most cases, it's recommended you bleed the brake line farthest from the master cylinder first and work your way back toward it. The position of the ABS system can affect this, so always bleed the lines according to the manufacturer's specifications for your vehicle. In the case of our Nitro, we'll go right rear wheel, right front wheel, and left front wheel. You'll notice we're starting with the Nitro raised with the wheels off. For details on how to do this safely, see our video on how to jack up your vehicle. Before you start, use a shop towel to wipe down the master cylinder and cap to keep any contaminants from getting into the master cylinder when you take off the cap. It's a good idea to siphon most of the old brake fluid from the reservoir. Leave a small amount in the bottom. The old brake fluid will be dark colored and the new fluid will be clear. Starting with new brake fluid in the master cylinder ensures the fluid going from the master cylinder to the caliper or wheel cylinders is new, fresh fluid. Check your owner's manual for the recommended fluid change interval and brake fluid type. Brake fluid should be changed regularly. And be sure to clean up any spilled brake fluid immediately. Remember, it's highly corrosive. Once you're done siphoning, top off the master cylinder with new brake fluid and put the cap back on. It's important to make sure the master cylinder never sucks air or runs dry. Fluid should always cover the holes in the bottom of the reservoir and only use the brake fluid specified by your vehicle's manufacturer. Go to your first bleeder valve and remove the cap. Attach your box wrench, then attach the hose of your bleeder tool. We'll be using a simple one-person bleeder tool to demonstrate this process. Situate the hose in the bottle so that the hose runs above the bleeder valve and down into the bottle. And make sure the end of your hose is submerged in fluid before you open the valve. Turn the box wrench to open the valve. You'll see fluid starting to move into the hose. Inside the vehicle, push all the way down on your brake pedal with slow, steady pressure. If you have a friend with you, have them apply the brake pedal pressure and close the valve again before the pedal is released each time. The bleeder valve must be closed before allowing the brake pedal to lift. Be sure your friend in the vehicle is clear on when to let up on the brake. The brake pedal can be pumped to create pressure, but only before the bleeder valve is open. Never pump the brake pedal with the bleeder valve open. Repeat this several times until there's no air in your hose and the fluid is looking more like the fluid from the master cylinder. If you're using a one-man brake bleeder tool, apply slow, steady pressure to your brake pedal several times and check your hose for air and fresh brake fluid. Once there's no air in the hose and the brake fluid looks clean, close the bleeder valve and carefully remove the hose, letting the excess fluid run into your bottle. Put the cap back on the bleeder valve and move to the next one. It's a good idea to fill the master cylinder reservoir before doing each brake line. During the process of bleeding, be sure to check the fluid level in the master cylinder every few times the brake is pushed in and continue to add brake fluid as needed. Anytime you're not adding brake fluid, leave the cap on the master cylinder. Also keep an eye on the amount of fluid in your bottle to make sure there's enough room for each bleed, but enough fluid to keep the end of your hose submerged. Once you've repeated this process on all 4 brake lines, fill the master cylinder to the max line and tighten the cap. After bleeding your brakes, always be careful the first time you drive to make sure the brakes are working properly. If there's still air in the lines, the brake pedal will be spongy. If you have rear brake shoes, you might need to adjust the brake shoes in order to affect the position or sensitivity of your brake pedal. And that's it. You'll find everything you need for this and other jobs at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or O'ReillyAuto.com. Our DIY videos are designed to help answer questions we get in our stores every day. If you found this one helpful, subscribe to our channel to get all the latest. We'll see you again soon.